This is the Geoffrey and Richie Show. All sports, all talk.
Hello there, and welcome to the Geoffrey and Richie Sports Show. I'm Richie Benno. Thanks for listening and obviously downloading. I'd like to introduce my colleague Geoffrey Boycott. Good morning, Geoffrey.
Morning, Richie. Morning, everybody.
How are you?
I'm absolutely fine in comparison to you. I think is probably the safest answer.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Are you absolutely sure? Because I've got a surgical mask on and desperately concerned.
Yeah, I mean, you do look a little bit like those Chinese guys that are cycling around in their inner cities because they're worried about the smog and everything like that.
Can you please give the listeners a very brief and just slight idea of how your week has gone?
I've been in hospital for a couple of days and I've been in my bed for another 2 or 3 days, and today is the first time I've stepped outside since last Friday. And
this is massive dedication.
Well,
Listeners should be more than appreciative.
Well, it's a little bit late, and I've got to apologise for that. But in a way, I'm slightly pleased with myself that I'm here. I've got to be honest; I haven't been the most attentive to the world of sport in the last 7 days as maybe I usually am. But that's mainly because...
Which is a shame, because that kind of carries the show.
It does, doesn't it? It's going to be like a 15-minute show and that's it, and it'll just be Geoffrey talking. But yes, thanks for asking. I'm much better now, as you can tell. So yeah, all is well. Where do you want to start? Your call, because I've got nothing.
No, which is weird. We have got very much a bit of a role reversal here. I think it's best we begin with the World Cup qualifiers. Oh
yeah, now I have heard something about this.
Okay, what have you heard?
I've heard that Ireland are out.
Good, that's a good call. They're definitely
I do know what's going on, obviously, but I'll let you to describe it. Go on.
Okay. Well, I think initially I'm just going to give it a brief rundown of who's actually qualified for the World Cup, and then on occasion we'll stop and chat about certain teams. And
okay.
Well, I don't know too much about some of the teams, but nonetheless we'll just push on.
Okay.
Okay. So obviously the hosts are
South Africa.
That's good from you.
Right. I didn't realise it was a quiz. I'm buggered if it is.
No, that's it. That's the only one I was going to ask. And indeed, from that point, we've got qualifiers being Algeria.
Oh yeah, move on.
Will we?
Oh, I don't know much about them.
Well, no, nor do I particularly, but I know that they were involved in a game with Egypt. I believe in their last qualifying game, which meant that they had to have a playoff effectively. And the first game was, I think, a 2-2 draw. It was certainly a draw, anyway.
Right, okay.
And there's been quite a bit of violence and rioting and whatever else because of the animosity between the two sets of fans, the two countries, I guess. Mm-hmm. And the replay was, I think, played in a neutral venue, but it was on Wednesday.
It was Wednesday. Yeah.
Wednesday evening. Yeah. And well, obviously Algeria won. I think it was their centre back possibly that scored an absolute cracker. It was certainly a defender, and I think that was in the first half, and that ultimately proved to be the goal that got them through. There were crazy scenes at the end. Indeed, one of the craziest things I saw was the Algerian goalkeeper, after the final whistle, rather than run off to celebrate with his teammates, he just decided to climb up the post and sit on the top of the goal.
Just sat there?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on, but I mean, there was just craziness.
He's made his point.
Yeah, there was craziness going on around him, but yeah, I'm sure I heard that it's only the second time Algeria qualified, and indeed...
I can't remember them qualifying in my memory of World Cups that I've watched.
No, I think if they have qualified before, it was a good 20 odd years ago.
Right.
Anyway, we're going to move on now to Cameroon. I guess expected Ghana, expected Ivory Coast, expected Nigeria. Yeah. Australia, these days you would expect that. Japan, North Korea, South Korea.
Oh, that's good.
North Korea, do they normally qualify? I don't know. South Korea certainly do.
South Korea, yeah, they've been involved. Don't remember North Korea being involved.
No, but anyway, they are. Denmark, obviously England.
Yeah.
France. This is where we need to expand.
Yeah.
I've got an asterisk next to France.
I mean, I can't remember a story. I mean, I have been laid up, not to go over it again and again, but obviously, I have had the television on occasions when I've been able to open my eyes.
Can I just ask the listeners at this point, if they can perhaps email in messages of sympathy to Big Daddy Rich, because he deserves it.
Cheers. It's Geoffrey and Richie at hotmail.co.uk. To be honest with you, the inbox has been inundated with junk mail. But yeah, that's a very kind shout out. But no, it has been like breaking news ticker on Sky Sports News for since then. Even today it was the breaking news, and it wasn't anything particularly breaking. At one point it was that Henri said that Ireland deserved to qualify. Brilliant. What's great that is. It's stupid. It really is absolutely stupid because there's nothing actually that's been proven. Nothing good is actually going to come out of this because FIFA are not going to bring in the video technology, which they clearly should. They're clearly not going to replay the game. I don't really see the point where Ireland even protested and put the request in. I know they've got to. Have you seen Roy Keane's comments today?
No.
Very scathing. Very scathing. Very scathing of the FAI and the chief executive thereof. And also, at times, he was a little bit critical of the players. He said that Ireland didn't really deserve to win, and France did.
From what I could gather, Ireland apparently were the better team for at least 3/4 of the 2 legs.
That's certainly what the impression I got. But at the same time, they didn't stick the chances away when they had it, and I think that was maybe Keane's point. You never really know with Roy Keane because he's got that side to him that can be a bit angry, and you never know if he's actually speaking from a personal point of view or from a professional point of view. You always get things out to he's got that vindictive side to him, for want of a better phrase. Just ask Alfie Inga Haaland.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so nothing good's going to come from it until they change the technology, and you don't need a game like this to prove that we need to bring in technology for goal line decisions and everything else.
Is that ever going to happen though? This is the question.
It's stupid. Do you know what? You know what it reminds me of? And I thought of this literally 10 seconds ago, so it's going to be a terrible analogy. But it reminds me of when I asked my 2-year-old son to come and clean his teeth and he protests. In the end, he's going to do it, but we've got to go through a few minutes of hoo-ha's and tantrums and everything else until he calms down and he just comes and cleans his teeth. And it's like, what a waste of energy. I truly believe that one day they'll bring it in. One day they'll have to. But to go through all this in the meantime is just pointless. It's ridiculous. Are you saying you don't think they will ever then?
Well, it just seems to have been a possibility for such a long time, and no progress has been made whatsoever. And I think it's just got to a stage whereby, okay, yeah, I obviously agree that Ireland were badly cheated, etc. But I mean, is there ever going to be an incident in a football match whereby the footballing authorities are going to think to themselves, right, from this point on, we're going to introduce this or this or this? Or is it just going to be, after each incident like this, this debate will return, and they'll chat about it for a little while, wait for it to die down, and then move on.
Yeah, nothing ever really.
Because that's what seems to happen.
It does seem really strange. I mean, I've got to say, in the heat of the moment, or the speed of the game, the ball kind of bounced up at Henri. I wouldn't, I've read comparisons with Maradona of '86, and I personally don't see it. I don't think that it was. It was a blatant handball, but I don't think it was quite as deliberate. It was nowhere near as deliberate as Maradona's, for example. But I don't know. It kind of like bounced up.
It's tricky because it hit his hand twice. I certainly believe that the one of those was deliberate, if not two. I mean, and to be honest, it doesn't matter because the referee didn't see it. How the linesman didn't see it, I don't know. No. But nonetheless.
Very, very Henri to then sit with Richard Dunn at the end of the game, like in the centre circle or whatever, head bowed and everything else. And it was a very Henri thing to do. I mean,
and even afterwards, he's come out and he's been honest, hasn't he? I mean, and he was even saying today that he believes there should be a replay, but knowing full well that will never happen.
Exactly.
Geoffrey and Richie.
Right, if you'd like to download the full version of the Geoffrey and Richie Sports Show, including more World Cup football talk, Premiership football talk, the Geoffrey and Richie 2009-2010 challenge, some cricket, and also the winners and losers from the past 7 days of sport, go to iTunes. You can find us there. We are the Geoffrey and Richie Sports Show. Also do check out our blog. The web address is www.geoffreyandrichie.libsyn.com. You can also email us at geoffreyandrichie@hotmail.co.uk. Many thanks. See you next week.
This is the Geoffrey and Richie Show. All sports, all talk.